As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases.
Hey guys, this is just going to be a short live. As many of you know, I've tried to upload a video. It got frozen. It didn't take. So I figured I'd come on here live, just get your guys' thoughts on a few things and just discuss this statement made by District Attorney General and the prosecutor in the Summer Wells case. Many of you guys know this is just broke about an hour ago or so. I was watching Crimes, Lines, and Lies when it had broke. It had just been stated about I want to say 10 minutes when she started, and then I got a phone call from JLR. He had just posted something about it. So just wanted to come on here real quick. I know there's a lot of people are going to be discussing this and talking about it and watching it later. So again, just a short video. I'm just going to read some of the stuff that's in here. It's from Rogersville, Tennessee, the WJHL. They've been covering this case from the beginning. And it's just basically, this district attorney is basically saying that, explaining a little bit about the process is how, Hawkins County couldn't call TBI in. They could call other agencies in, but they could not call TBI in. The district attorney actually had to call TBI in, which they did. They've been, this search for Summer has been expanding, far and wide for her. They've looked at all avenues. They've looked at the possibility of abduction, possibility of her being trafficked, possibility of foul play, possibility of her just wandering off. And, to date, they still haven't, gotten much further. I beg to differ because this statement is very, very telling. It's very telling. There is some inclinations in here of where they're going, what they're thinking, how they're thinking, what the process is. You've got to pay close attention to the words. Good morning, Karen, or afternoon, rather. Good morning, Karen. So I just want to go over here. They even talked about the Amber Alert, which is right here. But I think the crux of this is that, he has been involved in this case and in an advisory type of position as the prosecuting attorney, district attorney. That is standard. We've dealt with, the district attorney in Moab, Utah. We've dealt with the district attorney the assistant district attorney in this case. Good morning or good afternoon, Judy. And so we're accustomed to this advisory role position, so to speak, in these cases. And what that basically is for is when these law enforcement officers are doing their investigation, it is ultra important that they do an investigation in such a way that the evidence that they obtain is not thrown out of court for legal issue and anything subsequent to that, fruit from the poisonous tree, so to speak. So as this case is rolling out and as they're investigating, they have to have somebody in an advisory role to help guide them through this process so they don't screw something up that can be ultimately thrown out of court. And if law enforcement wants to go down an avenue, they need to know what the repercussions and implications of going down that avenue are. And therefore, this prosecutor, district attorney, i.e. prosecutor, helps advise them and guide them in collecting and in going down the right avenues lawfully and legally, so whatever evidence they receive and get is retained in the criminal aspect. What is so interesting about this statement on the heels of the head detective's comments yesterday is this really sounds like it's going down the criminal avenue, right? Because, it was discussed yesterday the possibility of her just wandering off, which is not criminal, period. It's not criminal. If she just wandered off, these avenues would not even be going down. There's nothing illegal about a child wandering off. Maybe negligence from the parents, but slightly, possibly, potentially, but no criminal conduct from the parents for a child wandering off really can be ascertained through that avenue. But this right here is talking about, it even goes into about the older brothers being removed from the home and how no charges have been filed over their removal. So they're basically saying that, there's no charges filed. They were removed for reasons, probably child neglect, child endangerment charge, possibly child cruelty charges, but no charges have yet been filed on that aspect of the case, which we have been talking about for many months. He's talking about how this is a very complicated issue. And, he declined to talk about Don Wells' legal trouble. He said there's a possibility of a charge and arrest that could happen at some point. Again, to me, it sounds like they are eliminating the possibility of her just wandering off, right? If an arrest does ever take place, that's when Armstrong will actually look at what charges can be filed. So still in the advisory type of role in this case. If it ever, what does it say? Then, of course, they would want to talk to them about charges. And a case like this would generally go to a grand jury. I know we've been talking about this grand jury summons that people have received in and around the Hawkins County area. And I personally went back to look at when the last grand jury summons was issued. And it was back in July 2020 for some kind of drug indictment. So this is really interesting. It feels like this case is heating up, which, when Sheriff Ronnie Lawson came out and let us know that they were not cooperating, they had lawyered up, the cracks in that dam started forming. And I said, it seemed to me like there would be floodgates opening in and around, it may be a little bit, but it sounds like the floodgates are opening. But see, what people fail to realize is this state attorney got involved many months ago, was involved and actually questioned the boys many months ago. It brought them back in after they had been removed for several months, got some, I'm assuming some counseling and things of that nature. And we forgot about that because we brought it up in passing. We brought this up in passing. And then it just went onto the back burner. We never heard anything about it. And it just out of sight, out of mind. So I'm wondering if this state attorney was building this case or advising on how to build this case way back then. And that was like 4 or 5 months ago. I believe that was in and around our first trip to the Rogersville, Tennessee area, or possibly in and around the second trip, which was only 2 or 3 weeks later. But it was in and around that time, that December, January timeline, that we started hearing that the prosecutor was getting involved with the case. And I think that was when he first started looking at all the holes that needed to be plugged in the case. And I think everything after that was plugging these holes. Now, with the statement from the lead detective yesterday, we just had a conversation about that at the coffee club this morning about how I feel like it's lip service for the attorneys, the defense attorneys, because in a case where there's defense attorneys, you have to make sure that you look at all possible suspects. You go down every single avenue. You leave no stone unturned before you charge that defendant with the crime. because they will say that, hey, law enforcement never looked at any other possibilities. They zoned in on my client, and that's all they zoned in on, and they never looked anywhere else. We call BS. We know it's BS, but this is what the defense attorneys will claim if they don't prove that they have looked at every possible suspect. They've left no stone unturned. And I believe that is what we're dealing with here, with that lead detective yesterday talking about all the possibilities are still left on the table, even though we know from TBI specifically. Now, TBI and the FBI are overseeing this, even though we have a lead detective in Hawkins County. You're talking about, the structure of, chain of command, so to speak. And if TBI is coming out and saying that there's no possibility of an abduction, and then you've got a lead detective from Hawkins County stating that we've got everything on the table, I'm sorry, I'm going to listen to TBI where they say there's no possibility of an abduction. Now we've got the prosecutor here basically talking about potential charges coming in the near future and how the grand jury will play in that those charge aspect of this phase of the investigation. So it sounds to me like now we have TBI saying there's no possibility of an abduction. We now have this prosecutor coming out talking about possible criminal charges, grand jury indictment. And we know through the grapevine and what we've heard, and we know for a fact because people have come out to speak, even though they don't know what it's about the grand jury summonses that were issued. And so therefore, this, we don't know what the grand jury summonses are for. It could be for a shooting, for all we know. It could be for something completely different. But it just seems awfully coincidental that we have grand jury summonses going out, and we have this prosecutor talking about a grand jury, and no grand jury has been convened since July 2020 in Hawkins County. So a lot of stuff, a lot of moving parts with this. Our friend JLR had spoken about, is Don ever going to come out of jail? He had put together a little video and posted it up for everybody to see. Is Don Wells ever, will this be the last time he had freedom? Once he went to jail, are they going to keep him? It's possible. It truly is possible. So just wanted to come on here, touch base with you guys. This is the most interesting statement of this prosecutor's statement to WJHL. And it says, we follow leads as they come in. And so at this point, you're basically down to following whatever leads come in and following up, he said. Maybe trying to backtrack and do some things you did before to see if anything comes of it. Right? So it sounds to me like this investigation is winding down. This investigation is winding down, not winding up. And I don't know what everybody else's opinion is on this statement. I don't know what anybody else's opinion is on this. I could be totally off base here. Totally off base. And I want to give a big shout out to Brooks with Crimes, Lines, and Lies. Or is it Crimes, Lies, CLL? Brooks is awesome. I love her channel. She's amazing. And I was actually in her chat when this was being brought up. It took me a little while to come out and speak on it because I was trying to prepare a video and upload it, and everything just kind of went just sideways with the uploading of the video. And I'm like, this is taking entirely too much time. It'll be much easier for me just to do a live and, let the people hear what I have to say and get their opinion on it. You know, what do you think? Do you think this is the real deal? Do you think what? Do you think like me? Is this case sounds like it's winding down versus winding up? Because it just seems to me that the whole search in and around the property at the Wells house was plugging the holes. It was plugging the holes. Tennessee, I need you to, if you don't mind, this is not calling, sorry, we only have 74 people. I'm not trying to embarrass you in any way, but there were some errors that were going on in the chat earlier with you moderating, and we have it happen every now and again with our moderators when they first come on. Even Anissa and Ronnie both went through it. So I just want you to get with Anissa or Ronnie and just get some training on moderating, so we don't have any hurt feelings from other members on here. And I hope everything's well with you, honey. But I just got to get you. So just for all the moderators in general, I love you, Tennessee. I just want to let you know that. Not trying to call you out, but I don't have any way of talking to you but through here. And I'll clip this out of the video that goes public. But can you actually, you know what would be easier? Can you please email me and just put Tennessee in the subject line? I gotta just give you some information for moderating in here, so there's no mistakes. It was probably your first time. You did great, but just need to critique a couple things if you don't mind. So I love you. Don't get your feelings hurt. I love you. It happens. No big deal. No big deal. Anyways. So yeah, there was something that was popping in, and anyways, just need to talk to Tennessee about. So I love her or him. Are you a girl or a boy, Tennessee? I just need to know. It's so hard with some of these names. So hard. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Judy. Hi, Betty Fan. I hope everything's going well. So anyways, that's just my thoughts on it. Take what you will from it. I love each and every one of you. Tennessee, don't forget to email me. I just need to give you some instructions for the moderating. And like I said, I moderated a few people. Some I screwed up myself, so don't feel bad. It happens. It really does. But I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. So you know, God bless you. I love you. Thank you for all your help. And we'll just need to work on it. Okay, hun? Anyways, that's it. That's it for the day. So I can't wait. Again, tomorrow I may not be going live. I may go live on the road, but I probably, you know, to be honest with you, I'm leaving at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I really, really, really don't know if I want you guys to see me with 1:30 a.m. bags under my eyes at 7 o'clock in the morning. So we'll see how it's all going to go. Anyways, God bless each and every one of you. Have a great, fabulous day, and we will chat soon.